Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Why Are You Yelling? Welcome back to another F1 Academy race review. What? Oh my goodness. It's been
like 3 months.
Forever.
I think Alice Powell said 11 weeks, and I was like,
Oy.
Lord.
Yeah, so today we are recapping round 5 at Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands. We'll kick things off with a quick refresher about F1 Academy, just kind of what it is, the race series in general, just in case you don't know.
It's been 11 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I think we all need a refresher.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about where things kind of stood coming into the weekend. We'll do a quick little update on what happened with practices and qualifying, both races. And we have some other fun information for you.
Yeah. It's a nice little weekend
roundup.
Weekend. Is it it's not a review. It's a review, but also
I'm thinking of roundup, like Woody's roundup from Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
Woody's roundup. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so for those who don't know, F1 Academy is Formula One's all-women series. It is designed to give young female drivers an opportunity to show what they got.
Yeah.
It is the equivalent to the F4 racing series. They're racing the same type of car.
Yeah.
And basically, it's an opportunity for these female drivers to get experience in this type of car, show what they've got, learn sort of how to behave and just the ins and outs of being a driver as part of a team. Because a lot of these female drivers are coming from karting or they're coming from other types of series. Mm-hmm. So for some of them, they have no open wheel racing experience at all.
Yeah. And I mean, even to get experience in a car at all is difficult. Going to a go-kart track, you can do that. It's not often you get to just go, let me hop in an F4 car or my F3 car or my F2 car. So it's they provide a lot of opportunities for them to be able to just get experience in the car, which is that in itself is so important.
Yeah, and it's not just the drivers either. It's the engineers, it's the mechanics, it's the people running the behind-the-scenes stuff. The focus is primarily giving women in motorsport, not just the drivers, but across all areas, the opportunity to get experience and to learn and to kind of get a foot in the door in a primarily heavily male-dominated field.
Exactly.
So just a little bit of information about the cars and the series itself. So the drivers all race the same TOTUS F4 chassis. There's a bunch of other letters and numbers there.
Yeah,
I don't think it's really relevant.
No, I think that's just the most recent F4 chassis.
Yeah, and it's powered by an Autotechnica turbo engine on Pirelli tires. It features a unique aero package compared to standard Formula 4. It's got a modified front and rear wing. It's designed as a specialized F4 car. It's focused mainly on driver development.
Yeah.
Because the purpose of this series is not so much throw the drivers at each other and see how competitive they can be. It's a little bit more put the driver in the car and let's help get them used to this car and driving in this way. It is still competitive.
Yeah.
It's still plenty competitive. And there's a lot, if you enjoy wheel-to-wheel racing, especially.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about racecraft in particular, that's where that part of racing shines, I think, in this series.
It does for sure. I was actually just saying that. I was some of the best and the closest wheel-to-wheel action I have seen has been an F1 Academy. Yeah. And another reason, too, it's what they would call a spec series. So since everything is the same, it also keeps cost really low. So all they need to focus on is the driver who's driving it and racecraft and really developing that. And they're not limited by, Gabriel Bortoleto, who is a prodigy in Formula One, doing so well in F2 and F3. Well, he's at Sauber, not able to necessarily show off those skills. But so it's kind of the opposite of that.
So a little bit more information about just the teams and who's supporting them and how that all works. So we've got 6 teams racing in F1 Academy. Each team has 3 drivers. The 3 teams are Prema Racing, Campos Racing, MP Motorsport, Rodin Motorsport, Art Grand Prix, and High Tech TGR. And those are those same. You may recognize some of those team names because they also have teams in Formula 2 and Formula 3.
Yep.
And so all 18 drivers in F1 Academy are backed by either a Formula 1 team or one of the series official partners. We're talking like, was it Tommy Hilfiger? We're talking, who's the makeup one? Charlotte Tilbury.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, I was like, been a minute, 11 weeks. We've got
McLaren and,
Is
Ferrari, all
is it Puma?
back people.
Somebody. Oh, is it Puma?
Maybe.
Is there a Puma car?
There was a Gatorade one at one point.
Yeah, that was a wild card.
Yeah.
One of the wild card this time was Team Viewer. So
so there is a wild card driver every round. So of the 18 drivers, 17 of them are permanent for the season. They all retain their seats. And then we have one wild card driver that's part of, is it High Tech? High Tech's team has one wild card seat where it's a different driver in each round of the series. And a lot of times it's a local driver. Sometimes it hasn't been, but more often than not, it's been somebody from the country that the race is taking place in, or that the races are taking place in. So I say races because F1 Academy does 2 races.
Yes.
So they typically do up to, for each weekend, they'll do up to 2 free practice sessions. And then they will also have a qualifying. And so the way that they qualify, there's one race where the top 8 is a reverse order for the grid. And then the second race is just the regular qualifying order.
Yeah.
So we do 2 races each weekend.
It's race 1 is the reverse grid typically, unless we had some weird stuff in Montreal where we had a makeup race. But yeah, race 1 is typically the reverse grids. The top 8 are reversed, and then race 2 is. And also that the points are also different as well. So like race 2 is actually like full Formula 1 points for the top 10. Race 2, it's like only a few points, so it doesn't match the Formula 1 scale. So since it has been 11 weeks since we have covered F1 Academy and we have seen our girls, we're going to kind of remind everybody about where we were before we even got to Zandvoort. So the championship picture after Montreal, Dorian Pon led the standings with 109 points. Chloe Chambers was second with 89 points, so just 20 points behind her. And Maya Weug, she was in third with 72 points after a tough Montreal weekend because she had so many mechanical failures that literally weren't her fault. There were times she didn't even get to compete at all. It just really hurt her. And another thing that was interesting that weekend was Ella Lloyd. She sat right behind them with 67 points after 3 consecutive P2 finishes in Canada. So she finished second every race, which was insane. So going into Zandvoort for the team battles, we have Prima Racing was still first, then Campos and MP Motorsport right behind. So the biggest things to consider going into Zandvoort was sidebar. Before I get into everything to consider, something fun is Zandvoort is the only circuit that's been on the F1 Academy calendar all 3 seasons, or all 3 years that it's been alive.
Cool.
Since its genesis. Which is good because I would say Zandvoort is a track that, it's hard.
Yes. Challenging. It's got, everything.
Yeah, it's very hard. We were doing it on the simulator. It's rough.
Them banks, though.
Oh, my gosh. So they did some preseason testing at Zandvoort in the middle of their break. So that was in July. It gave the driver some valuable prep for the tricky circuit. So some of the rookies, they may not have experience at Zandvoort. Any of our veteran drivers who are in their second year, they would have driven Zandvoort before, but it's nice to and if there's a track you might need some refreshers on, it's probably Zandvoort. So they did some testing. Alicia Palmowski, she is a driver that we have highlighted before. She dominated the first day. And she is a rookie, so I don't know that she's ever been to Zandvoort before in any of the lower divisions. I don't know if she's competed in any F4 series that are there, but she dominated the times in testing. And then Maya Weug, who is Dutch, so she should be very familiar with this track. She ended up dominating in day 2 in testing. So some of the storylines going into the weekend, we have Maya Weug, who is the home favorite. She double podiumed there last year, and her testing pace pretty much suggested that she was going to do well this weekend, which we will be getting into in just a few moments. And then we have Ella Lloyd riding the momentum from her 3 podiums in Montreal, still chasing her first series win. She's also a rookie. We have a lot of rookies. Most of our rookies were wild cards last year, so that was pretty. It's almost like you have almost a 100% shot if you are a wild card driver in F1 Academy, you will get a seat next year. Mm-hmm. Alicia Palmowski, she established herself as the rookie to watch consistently from testing. And then we have Arielle Nobles. She is hoping to bounce back after losing a podium chance in Canada. So going into Zandvoort, Ella Lloyd established herself, turning our 3-way battle for the championship into a potential 4-way battle with Dorian, Chloe, and Maya.
Exciting.
Yeah, so now we will get into our practice sessions.
We sure will. So practice 1, conditions, we had a dry track. So the drivers got their sort of cleanest runs of the weekend in practice 1. We had Palmowski finishing P1, Weug in P2, Chambers rounded out the top 3. And there was just a 0.005 of a second.
What, like 5,000ths of a second?
Was that? No, we said it wrong one time, and I'm like, I'm afraid to say it again. That's 1,000. Okay.
Yeah. So the first one, 0 would be a tenth. The second is 100th. Third is 1,000.
Don't come for me. Okay. Listen here.
I got you.
Listen here. It's been a minute since I had to read numbers like this. Okay. So there was just a 5. There was just
5,000ths of a second.
There was just 5,000ths of a second between Palmowski and P1 and Weug in P2. Mm-hmm. So like that's a very, very, we're talking like on top of each other. You blinked. You half of a fraction of a blink.
You might have blinked.
You didn't even blink.
No.
You just didn't even see them.
You thought about it. Yeah.
So there was a red flag in practice 1. So the session did end early after the crash at turn 8. So there was a penalty given out. So Nicole Haverda got a 10-place grid drop for both races 1 and 2 after overtaking Dorian Pan under red flag conditions. So that's no bueno, not good.
As Alice Powell said, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
She is so funny. The way she words things, she goes, that's a big no-no. Like she talks like about them like they're children, and it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, mistakes are bound to happen in this series. But it's one of those things where it's like there's certain mistakes that can't happen. You cannot have drivers ignoring or doing things wrong procedurally. You can't have them doing things wrong during unsafe conditions when there's red flags and yellow flags. And like there's a list of things that you just absolutely, it's a no-no. And that's one of them.
No-no.
Yeah. So the biggest sort of takeaway from FP1 is that Palmowski and Campos looked strong right out the gate. And Weug was matching the pace at home, and Chambers close behind.
That's my girl.
Yeah. So our summary for practice 2, the conditions were wet, showery sessions with limited clean laps. So, and Zandvoort is, again, we mentioned, it's a very tough track. It's one of those places you do not want rain.
But the weather's so finicky there that there's always a chance, and you kind of just wake up and go, well, is it going to rain? We'll find out. It might.
It's like, it is what it is.
Like, no matter what, almost, it seems.
So our top 3 for FP2 was Chloe Chambers, Maya Weug, and Dorian Pan. So quick driver's note. So Palmowski said she expected a close-fought qualifying after her practice pace. And Nina Gademan was declared unfit to take part in FP2 by the chief medical officer after running in FP1.
Yeah, and they did not give any more details about that. I do suspect that could be referencing an injury she got when they did testing in Jeddah earlier in the year, and she did get injured. I'm curious as to whether or not that could be related, but yeah, they didn't really give any more details on it. So she did not take part in FP2.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway was that Chloe Chambers adapted the best to the changing conditions with, showery weather and stuff. And then Maya Weug and Dorian Pan were right there to keep the fight close heading into qualifying.
They ain't playing. Chloe is she's a beast. I mean, they all are in the top 3 are just like, even though some of those rookies are really like giving them a run for their money, but when everything just kind of matches up for those 3 in particular, it's insane.
So let's hop into qualifying. So the conditions started off damp from rain overnight. So the drivers began on wets before switching to slicks as the track dried. So our top 3 finishers were Maya Weug, Alicia Palmowski and Ella Lloyd. Maya Weug got pole by just 0.039 seconds. Very close margins. Alicia Palmowski narrowly missed out on getting that pole position, but, still up there.
She's up there.
Still up there. And Ella Lloyd, this is the best qualifying of her rookie season, right on pace with the leaders.
She was not playing.
Yeah.
She was not playing. There was multiple times during some of the races we'll get into, I'm like, she don't care that that's Maya Weug. She's like, I don't care. I'm here.
She's putting up a fight.
Yeah, she is very aggressive.
So some incidents in this session.
Some incidents.
And some red flags. So red flag number 1 happened when Nicole Haverda locked up into turn 1, rear-ended teammate Ava Anagnastaiades, causing Ava to beach the car.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a driver, that's so embarrassing to beach your car. Because I'm like, you're stuck there and like you try to get out and then the car's just like wheels turning. You're just like, I'm stuck here.
You're like, what? Oh, God. Yeah,
and you got to climb out and then it's like do the ride of shame on the back of the scooter.
The scooter of shame, yeah.
Back to the garage. We had red flag number 2 when Aurelia Nobles drove wide, ended up in the gravel, and that ended her qualifying session.
Yeah.
And so one of the sort of things the drivers had to kind of like, it was tricky, was that the track was drying as the cars are going around, getting their warm-up laps in, and trying to start putting some times on the board. The track that was damp from overnight rain is drying up more and more. And so then you're playing a guessing game of when to change the tires over. It affects the way that you drive, what parts of the track that you use.
Exactly.
So basically, as the conditions started to improve, we had drivers like Leah Block and Aurelia Nobles were kind of among the first to switch from the wet tires to the slicks.
Yeah, they were like, I'm gonna gamble it.
Yep, going for it. So we did have penalties again in qualifying, ladies.
It was Haverda again.
Oh, Haverda was handed a
girl.
3-place grid drop for causing a collision with her teammate. So combined with her FP1 penalty, she dropped to P16 for both races. Like, girl, you're like shooting yourself in the own foot.
Girl, that was rough.
Yeah. So some other kind of key results from qualifying. Chloe Chambers just missed the top 3, coming in P4. Dorian Punk qualified P5, so not her best performance in qualifying. She's usually kind of up there.
Yeah.
Not the best for her.
We're really used to seeing her and Chloe in the top 3, so I was like,
Okay, so this was a challenging track for her too, I guess.
Yeah.
Leah Block took P6, followed by Tina Hausman in P7. Nina Gademan took P8 after taking part despite her earlier medical issue.
Yeah, so she was able to take part in qualifying. So whatever, I think I did read where basically she wasn't allowed to take part in FP2 because some other medical examiners had to clear her. So she was cleared, so she took part in qualifying.
And then we had our wildcard entry for this round. Esmee Kosterman came in P9 in qualifying. And then we have Emma Felbermeyer rounded out the top 10.
And I think that's the best a wildcard has qualified this season so far. So good on her.
Yeah. So biggest takeaways from qualifying is that Maya Weug delivered under home pressure to get pole. Alicia Palmowski showed she's still a consistent front runner. We've got Ella Lloyd confirmed her rise as a genuine contender. And then we've got such tight margins up front. The stage was set for a tense race number 1.
It was tense. Okay. We will go ahead and talk about the races themselves. So our race 1 recap. This is the reverse grid race. Again, this means that the top 8 are reversed, meaning Nina Gademan, who qualified 8th, she's now on pole, and Tina Hausman, who was 7th, she's 2nd. Leah Block, who was 6th, is now 3rd, and so on and so forth for the top 8. 9th through 18th, they're the exact same as they actually qualified. But they're trying to give some of the drivers more of a chance to be up front when, otherwise it would be kind of like the season before where Abby Poling was kind of just always up front, who was our championship winner last year.
Yeah, it's basically a way to just try to create some sort of interest in having 2 different races, basically.
So the conditions for race 1, it was a dry race with 1 safety car interruption, which we will get into. So our podium, we have Nina Gademan and then Leah Block and Maya Weug. So Nina Gademan, after, being declared medically unfit to take part in FP2, she is Dutch, and it was her birthday. her 22nd birthday. So she won on her birthday.
She was like, y'all ain't stopping me.
She said, not
today. Not on my birthday.
Nope. And it was her first career victory. So
Ooh,
it was a very emotional podium. It was very cute, very precious. And it was cool because we saw two people who had not been on the podium. So Leah Block also, that was her career best finish in F1 Academy. She's in her second year. So just to see the excitement, I was like, maybe it sounds cringe. I'm like, that's like girl. It was just fun to see how giddy and excited they were. At one point, Leah ran off the podium to chase Maya to spray her with champagne. And Nina's just on the front by herself like,
is somebody going to spray me?
Are they coming back? And they did. They came back. It was very cute. So we like to highlight our biggest movers, give people their flowers, Our first biggest mover is Aurelia Nobles. She gained 8 positions. And then we have Nicole Haverda, our little penalty getter. She gained 6 positions.
Let's go.
And then our third biggest mover was Maya Weug, she gained 5 positions. So some of the key moments in this race, so some of the front row drama, Tina Hausman spun out from P2 on the opening lap, bringing out the safety car, which is pretty devastating for her because she was P2, and then it was over. So bless her heart. And our race leader, Nina Gademan, she nailed the restart and never looked back and controlled the pace the entire time. She led every single lap. She was good. She was like, ain't nobody getting ahead of me. It's not happening. So actually at the very, very start of the race, she had a really good start. Leah Block's start was, I would say, sort of average, who was right behind her. But then for a while, they left them in the dust. Like, it was just Leah was extremely close. Yeah, she was gone. She was on Nina Gademan's butt. And I was like, for a while, I was like, oh my goodness. And so something about Leah Block as well, she is a rally, or she has a history with rallying. Even during the off season, she competed in a rally car race or competition. I'm not quite sure, but she finished on the podium in that. So it's just, some of these mixed conditions fit her very well, just because she has a background in really driving under mixed conditions. So back to some key moments. So the title contenders, Chloe Chambers ran wide early while battling Dorian Pond, dropping back. But then she ended up recovering to P5, which was kind of a little bit of a messy move. You could argue that Dorian Pond didn't give her enough space, but it was deemed a racing incident. But I'm not a steward. I can't make that call, even though I'm like,
I'm basically a steward.
I'm basically saying I think she didn't have enough room, but that's okay. So, like we said, Dorian Pond finished just outside the podium in P4, salvaging key points because she is trying her best to keep that lead that she now has in the points. Because Chloe and Maya, they are on her.
Coming for you.
They're coming. So we have Maya Weug. She climbed from P8 to P3, giving the home crowd a podium to cheer for. So now we had 2 Dutch drivers on the podium in race 1, which is fun. So I'm sure all the Dutch fans were extremely happy.
Let's go.
So we did have a little bit of some incidents.
Again? Incidents all over the place.
You can guarantee if you're watching a spec series, there's incidents, all right? So the incident in race 1 was between Alba Larson and Chloe Chong, which ended up causing Chloe to have to pit for a new front wing, and she had to serve a 10-second penalty. They ain't playing. Susie and all them are not playing. They said, you did what? Penalty. You ain't gonna do it again.
You got to teach them.
You gonna learn today.
Susie said, you were not embarrassing me and us in this whole series when you get out of here by making mistakes like that.
Nope, ain't happening. So some of the reactions from race 1 from our podium finishers, we had Nina Gademan, who said that she has been waiting for this for a long time within a very, very emotional win at home. And then we have Leah Block, who called her P2 the start of 2025 and a turning point in her season. So it's very exciting to see 2 people you don't normally see on the podium. Kind of like when we saw Alpine last year. Both of them on the podium, we were like, we all were like, okay, all right, cool. So our biggest takeaways from race 1, Gademan achieved a breakthrough maiden victory in front of her home fans. Leah Block secured her first podium in her second year with the series. Maya delivered at home with a strong recovery drive because, she gained, what did we say, 5 places. So very good on her. So at the end of race 1, the title fight is, getting a little more intense. We had 2 of our championship contenders hit each other just a little tiny bit. And then Maya getting the the podium, trying to get as close as she can to Dorian. Now we will get into our race 2 recap, which is our normal qualifying. So, what I mean by that is the grid is set with how they actually qualified, and this is for full Formula 1 points. So whoever wins gets 25 points, and so on and so forth, exactly how Formula 1 is. So conditions for race 2, it was a dry race with a clean start, and we had no safety cars.
Let's go.
Yes. And so our podium, we had Maya Weug, Alicia Palmowski, and Dorian Pan.
Let's go, Dorian. Okay.
Yes, she got up in there. So, like we said, Maya actually, in qualifying, she got pole position, and that was hers. She said, ain't nobody getting in my way. She actually crossed the line 7.3 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Wow.
And yeah,
that's crazy. That's really far ahead.
Very far ahead. And the reason Alicia Palmowski actually finished P2 was because Ella Lloyd got a penalty, and it was Alicia's first Grand Prix Sunday podium. So she's gotten the podium before in reverse grid races. This is her first podium on a Sunday. Woohoo!
Let's go.
And so our biggest movers for race 2, we have Alba Larson, who we have talked about before. She gained 5 positions. We have Rafaela Ferreira. She gained 3 positions. And Chloe Chong, who gained 2 positions. So good on you, ladies. So some of the key moments from race 2. This was horrible. It was devastating for me. Honestly, Zandvoort for my faves, the track does not love them.
No.
So Chloe Chambers suffered a mechanical issue before lights out and didn't even start the race. She's on the grid, ready to go, and she doesn't even get to start. And it was completely and utterly devastating for me because I love her. She's my fave. And then we have a false start for Ella Lloyd, which she started P2, but then after it was determined she had a false start, she was given a 5-place grid penalty, which ended up dropping her to P4. And then there was a whole penalty mix-up situation, so it was very confusing on the grid because, Leah her box was behind Chloe Chambers. So on the formation lap, she doesn't know, I'm assuming her team may not have been aware either that Chloe actually she couldn't move because the car was stuck. You could see on Chloe's steering wheel, it was stuck in some kind of mode that she wasn't able to do anything. And so when Leah's about to follow everybody, she actually gets very close to Chloe, then kind of has to tightly go around her to do the formation lap. And by the time they all come back around, Chloe's car is gone. So Leah, and it is a weird situation. I haven't really seen that a lot, and we've been watching Formula 1 for 2 years. I've never really seen that happen.
I think there's one time I remember seeing it where basically the car, you have to leave the grid box empty.
Yes.
And so it throws you off because normally you're judging based on the car in front of you and where you're supposed to be because you don't exactly see the number of the spot you're supposed to be in. So it can be a little.
Well, I've seen that happen, I think, when they did the formation lap and somebody decided to go ahead and pit. I think Charles did that on the formation lap. He decided to go ahead and get new tires maybe it wasn't Charles. Somebody did that. I just was she just 1 second she was there and then she wasn't. So Leah, it's a learning curve. They pull up and she pulls up in Chloe Chambers' grid box because it was right in front of her. She realizes it and she backs up into her grid box. But as she's trying to do it as quick as she can, the lights start to turn and it was determined she was not at a full stop when she kind of got set back up. So she ended up getting a 10-second penalty, dropping her out of the points, which is...
Is that her fault or is that their fault for not waiting for people to be lined up in their correct grid box?
No, that's her fault. Because by the time she was driving, so mind you, when they first started, I could understand her not realizing Chloe wasn't going to go, and that's why she got so close to her and then had to go around her, right? By the time she's doing that lap, they have team radios. Her team would have told her. The thing is with F1 Academy, it's not like you can just go watch somebody's onboard, but I would be under the assumption that her team would have told her, hey, Chloe is gone, and to maybe be aware of the grid box situation, or at least I would imagine there has to be some sort of communication. But even then, you should know at the end of the day, just because that person's not there anymore does not mean you get to take their place. So
no, but I mean more somebody at the back of the grid behind the cars has to wave the green flag that says, okay, we're ready to get the race started. Is there not somebody who determines when because that person, there's a certain time when they're okay, we're ready to start and they can wave the green flag. They were not ready to start because somebody was not in their proper grid box.
But that was only her fault. Technically speaking, she knows where she qualifies. She knows that, like, I mean, I get being confused, but it's like, you knew you weren't looking at the back of the other car earlier. You were looking at the
I'm
back.
not saying it's their fault that she was in the wrong spot, but I'm like, if she's in the middle of trying to get into her correct place, like, to me, I'm like, there's something procedurally wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess normally you would just, I don't know. I don't know if there's a certain time that you're supposed, like, once everybody's lined back up, when the last car pulls up, if they're supposed to be within a certain time period, you start the race.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's a rule or not. That would make more sense because I feel like, we've had it in the past where they've had to redo a formation lap for some reason. So I'm not sure. But
they redo the formation lap because they determined we're not ready to start the race.
She did get old. By the time the light started, she was in her grid box. She just wasn't at a complete stop, so the car was moving. So it's like, it was just sort of messed. It was sort of a mix-up.
It's messy.
It was. I was like, oh man, leave her alone. She's like, I got my podium, and now I got a 10-second penalty. So some of our strong drives for race 2, we have Nina Gademan fought to P6, and Wildcard Esmee Kosterman scored points in P7, and it is the first Wildcard to do so this season. She is also a Dutch driver, and we will be talking about her in just a few moments.
What is up with these Dutch drivers?
That's what I was saying. I was like, they're born and bred to race. There's something about these the Dutchmen, the Dutch women,
the Dutch people,
So some of the reactions from race 2, Maya Weug called it a huge bounce back after Montreal, cutting Pin's championship lead just to 20 points. So, like we said, Maya suffered a lot in Montreal. She had a lot of mechanical failures and issues that were not her fault. So she lost out on a lot of points that weekend. So it was nice to see her on the podium in both races. And I mean, she got pole. In race 2, she was first, stayed first. I mean, literally finished 7 seconds ahead of everybody. She was not playing. Alicia Palmowski praised her team for the overnight improvements. And Dorian Pon is satisfied to stay consistent despite not fighting for the win. She's like, I don't know if I want to say scampy or something, but or scrappy. I feel like Dorian's scrappy because she's so tiny. If you've never seen her before, she's very short. She's a very tiny, but like she ain't playing. So some of the takeaways from race 2, Maya delivered in front of her home crowd with a dominant win and maximum points. Palmowski and Pon kept themselves in the championship mix, with Chambers having a DNS and Lloyd's penalty. It made the title battle even more intense heading into Singapore. It's a little rough out here.
So something fun we like to do each episode for our F1 Academy is we like to highlight the wildcard driver, and we will also highlight one of our regular permanent drivers. So for our wildcard driver highlight, we're talking about Esmee Kosterman. We talked a little bit about how she performed this weekend. And just a reminder that High Tech TGR is the team that they have the wildcard seat that changes every round, or the driver for that seat changes every round. So Esmee Kosterman is a 20-year-old Dutch driver. She became the first woman to win in the Ford Fiesta Sprint Cup Benelux, second in Junior Cup, and third overall in 2023. She participated in Supercar Challenge, BMW M2 Cup, and scored points in Indian F4. She was selected through the FIA Girls on Track Rising Stars program and trained through the KNAF Academy. KNAF? KNAF.
I think I've heard people talk about that.
And this was her F1 Academy debut on home soil, racing for High Tech TGR, and a special team viewer car featuring the faces of over 200 women as a part of a Visibility Drives Change campaign.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Her car was covered in girls' faces.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. So as we mentioned earlier, her performance in Zandvoort was really impressive for a wildcard driver and as technically a rookie sort of performance.
Yeah.
So in qualifying, she qualified P9. In race 1, she was sidelined to the pit lane due to a formation lap issue, but recovered to P12. And then in race 2, she finished in P7, becoming the first wildcard to score points this season.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I do remember in race 1, they started to do the formation lap, and the radio message goes, "Go to the pit lane. We'll explain later." And she's like, "Okay." She just goes. But I mean, yeah, she had a pretty. She recovered really well. I mean, because she would have started 18th at that point and finished P12.
Yeah. And so her reaction to her Zandvoort debut, she said, "It's such an honor to drive as the wild card here at my home track. This weekend was the best weekend I've had in my whole life." She spoke about adapting to changing grip conditions and fighting back through the field. So the biggest sort of takeaways is that Esmee made a memorable debut, scoring championship points as a wild card on home soil. Her performance and visibility through both her drive and the special livery highlighted everything F1 Academy stands for: growth, opportunity, and representation.
Yeah, it really did. Like her performance as a whole, I mean, the livery, is highlighting women. She is a wild card driver, and then she adapted really well. I mean, she was the best wild card qualifier the whole season, and then to score points. We're gonna see her next year.
Yeah,
She'll be here.
She did exactly what this series is intended to do, which is give female drivers the opportunity to show what they have.
Yeah.
And she did just that. And this is just going to open the door for her. This one performance, because she delivered in it, is going to open the door for many more opportunities for her.
100. I think we'll see her on the grid in F1 Academy next year.
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee it. So we will get into a little bit of the standings update. So the Drivers' Championship after Zandvoort, we have our top 5. We have Dorian Pan with 127 points, Maya Weug with 107 points, Chloe Chambers with 93 points, Ella Lloyd with 84, and Alicia Palmowski with 73. So we have 3 veterans and 2 rookies, which is very interesting. Alicia and Ella, we've highlighted in our driver highlights. The team championship, we have Prima Racing with 224 points, Campos Racing with 179 points, and MP Motorsport with 159 points. So there's still some chances here, but we only have 2 more rounds in F1 Academy, so we'll see. And the biggest takeaways, leaving the weekend, Dorian Pan remains in control, but Maya Weug has rebounded and has closed the gap and kept the fight alive. So after a really devastating weekend in Montreal 11 weeks ago, she's really bounced back to being on the podium twice and really trying to get that championship fire lit. Chloe Chambers lost ground with her DNS, which was so devastating because, like I've said, I still think Chloe Chambers could win the championship. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of opportunity, and she's such a good qualifier. She's kind of like a Max Verstappen. You really don't want to see her in your rearview mirror. She will find a way to overtake you. Like, she's a great overtaker. She'll overtake on parts of the track that aren't really conventional. She's just very, very talented. She has a really, really great racecraft. So I still believe in her. She's got this. And while Chloe Chambers did have her DNS, we have Ella Lloyd and Alicia Palmowski, who continue to apply pressure from just behind, going, don't forget about me. We're right here. Just because we're in our first year does not mean we're going to relax. And so Prima, they have built a strong cushion in the team standings, even though Campos and MP are still chasing them. It'll be interesting to see how Singapore goes. And
that's going to be a rough one. Singapore is always like super hot, really physically difficult for the F1 drivers. Yeah. So I just can't even see. I don't operate well in the heat or the humidity. Yeah. So I would just be like, okay, this is the worst day.
It's the worst day of my life.
Especially in those freaking hot cars. They get so hot driving around. All the heat from the engine is just on you. Yeah. So that's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be a little rough.
So we can go into our driver spotlight, our regular driver spotlight. So every episode, we highlight one of the permanent drivers, one of the 17 permanent drivers. Mm-hmm. So this week's spotlight is on Nina Gademan, who's racing under Prima Racing and is supported by Alpine.
Yes.
So Nina secured her first victory at her home race on her birthday, just days after being declared medically unfit and forced to miss FP2. She stayed composed, led every lap, and delivered an impressive bounce back.
Yes, she did.
So she is a Dutch-born driver. She is 22 years old, and she began karting in 2018. She was a finalist in the FIA Girls on Track Shootout at Le Mans and won gold in the karting slalom cup at the 2019 FIA Motorsport Games. So before F1 Academy, she competed in the 2024 British F4 Championship with Fortec Motorsport and earned a rookie podium and finished the season 18th overall with 28 points. She also raced in the Formula Winter Series with High-Tech TGR in early 2025. So for her F1 Academy career, she entered the series in 2024 as a wildcard entry at Zandvoort. And she finished in the points, which is awesome. Yes. And so for this year, she graduated to a full-time seat with Prima Racing.
Yeah. Which is what we were saying about, if you perform really well as a wild card, then chances are you're going to be a driver on the grid next year. And that's exactly what happened to Nina.
And so her performance at Zandvoort this year, she qualified P8 at her home race, giving her pole in race 1. And in race 1, she delivered a flawless lights to flag victory on her 22nd birthday, and it was her maiden F1 Academy win.
Yay.
She backed it up with a P6 finish in race 2, scoring heavily across the weekend. So Nina's Zandvoort weekend was a sort of defining breakthrough for her, showing resilience and composure under pressure. And her win not only marked a personal milestone, but also underlined the strength of Prema Racing and Alpine's development pipeline.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And then I'm like, we had every podium, at least, F1 Academy and Formula One, Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
They are built different.
Yep.
They are built different.
Dutch, built different.
Yes. Like we had Max Verstappen in F1 who, I don't know, you can never count out Max Verstappen, but, the fact he was even on the podium and was able to really hold everybody off is pretty impressive considering that car is not great right now. And then, having in race 2 in F1 Academy, having 2 Dutch drivers and then just having Maya, which, fun fact, Maya is like the only win at this point that Ferrari has. So, because she's the Ferrari-backed driver. Just saying.
Let's go, Maya.
Let's go. Forza Ferrari. Now we will go ahead and look ahead into our next F1 Academy race. It will be round 6 at Singapore in October. It'll be October 3rd through the 5th. This will be F1 Academy's second trip to the Marina Bay circuit after making its debut there in 2024 in its second season at the time. So something we were saying earlier, Singapore is rough. It is hot. It is a night race. It's hard on the F1 drivers. I can just imagine how it's going to be for our girls, for our F1 Academy girls.
Well, because most of the F1 drivers, as long as they're not rookies, most of them have driven in Singapore before. Mm-hmm. So they kind of understand they understand and have experience driving in Singapore. Most of the drivers do conditioning to prepare for Singapore.
Yes.
Like they do, they'll do sessions in like extra humid, hot, like if they're training in gyms, they do sessions in the sauna, like to kind of acclimatize their bodies to that, because it is rough, especially when you're used to like racing around, because they're doing it after like the European leg where it's a little bit cooler, it's a little bit drier.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be rough. So we can expect. Oh, and so the girls, so our veteran drivers, they would have experienced Singapore last year, but our rookies. So we can expect a tough challenge, a humid night race, unforgiving walls, and a technical layout that punishes mistakes. So it's going to be a very difficult yet rewarding weekend. So our championship watch, Dorian Pon leads with 127 points, but her margin has shrunk to just 20 points over Maya, who has 107 points. Chloe Chambers has 93 points, and she needs to bounce back after her DNS in Zandvoort, so this will be a very critical weekend for her. I mean, to be honest, she really needs to get 2 podium finishes if she kind of hopes to really battle for the win in Vegas at the end of the year. And we have Ella Lloyd and Alicia Palmowski, who continue to close in, both showing podium-level pace. I would go ahead and bet they're going to be the 2 next year that are going to be the title contenders. And so the momentum right now, it favors Maya after her dominant home win, even though Pon relies on her consistency. Maya finding that footing. I mean, and like we said, all her issues in Montreal were not really her fault. So as long as that car can perform, she'll be fine. As long as her car's good, I think, it kind of is probably going to stress Dorian out a little bit, because you don't really want to see Maya or Chloe in your rear view. So, and Chambers heads to Singapore under the most pressure, though. After having that DNS, she's going to have to work really hard, like we said. And so, Singapore is hot, humid, and unforgiving. And we look forward to finding out who's going to handle that pressure the best.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Maya, Dorian, Chloe Chambers, Ella, or Alicia Palmowski? We don't really know.
We'll find out.
Maybe it'll be someone else. Yeah. But we'll find out. And that being said, we do, if you have not already watched F1, The Academy, it has been out on Netflix since May. We have reviewed it. The episode is not out. It will be out within a week's time.
We make no promises.
But look out for that. And if you have not watched F1 The Academy, you should. It gives really good insight into behind the scenes of the sport and what these girls really have to go through. And it not even just the girls, it gives you a better understanding of the feeder series in general.
Mhm.
So we'd highly recommend that. And with that being said, we will talk at you in October after Singapore. Bye.
Bye.